Hello and welcome back. Missy Heydrich here, 2024 Big 12 Women's Basketball Media Day. Now joined by the University of Utah head coach Lynn Roberts, now entering her 10th season as the helm of this program. They were 23-11 a year ago, 11-7 in the Pac-12, picked number 6 in the Big 12 preseason poll. Joined by 3 players, senior forward Jenna Johnson, junior guard Gianna Neepkins, and senior guard Kennedy McQueen. Welcome to Kansas City, Coach. There is one thing that they love in Kansas City. It is Big 12 basketball, in addition to barbecue, which I heard you already all had yesterday. You have built a strong tradition with this Utah women's basketball program. For those in this part of the country or for that haven't been paying as much attention as some of us, tell us a little bit about the identity, the culture of this program that you've built.
I'm proud of the program that we have. You know, I think we have a team this year. Every year is a new team, but I think we're at a stage where we have a program. And the program is really centered on recruiting quality kids that want to be at the University of Utah for all the reasons: academic, community, and obviously basketball. So we've done well with retention. We've kept our players, but we've got really, really hardworking young women that are excellent students, excellent ambassadors for our program. In terms of, style of play, we've had the number 2, efficient offense in the country the last 3 years. We've advanced in the NCAA tournament the last 3 years. We won the Pac-12 2 years ago. So I'm hopeful that even though we've been on the West Coast, people are still conscious of all that we've achieved, and I know we're new to the Big 12, but I don't think we're new to achieving in our sport.
No doubt about it. You mentioned retention. Experience is invaluable. You have that with the 3 young women that are next to you. How key is that as you take those newcomers and blend them with them heading into this new journey that is the Big 12?
Yeah, I think it's a blessing for me as a coach, coming into all this new travel, new opponents, new scouts, new all the things, right?
Yeah.
Which comes with challenges, and there will be a learning curve, and there will be ups and downs with that. But the one thing I know I have is, along with others that are back in Salt Lake City, is like the 3 next to me who we have been in many games together, the trenches together for, some of these guys 4 years. Kennedy, this is her 5th year. The one good thing that came out of COVID was I got Kennedy McQueen for the final year. So, I am, while there is so much new, I am very, very confident in what we have and what I think we can do this season.
All right, my first question to Jenna, senior forward, the 2024 Pac-12 honorable mention selection. You've been a 1,000-point scorer in your career at Utah. We all love buzzwords in college sports, and I think one of them is culture. So as players, how do you all define the culture of Utah women's basketball?
Yeah, that's a really good question. I think it's something that's taken a few years to really develop and figure out exactly what that is. But how I define it, at least, is just we're a hard-nosed, hard-working group of kind of blue-collar girls. I know we kind of take after our football team in a way with that. And I think we play, you see our assist numbers and our efficient offense and stuff. We play for each other. And you guys watch us, you'll see that for sure. So I think just kind of this team-oriented culture and playing for each other and playing really, really hard is what we're known for.
Makes a big difference down the stretch, no doubt about it. Gianna Neepkins, preseason All Big 12 selection. You played just 8 games last season before injury cut your year short. You've been a 2-time Pac-12 first-team selection during your career. First and foremost, how are you doing? How's your recovery been? And what are you looking forward to the most in terms of getting back out on the floor this season?
Yeah, my recovery is going really well. I'm back to 100%. Been in practice for quite some time now, so just still kind of getting consistent with it. But I feel good and just excited. I think what I'm most excited about is being in this new conference with new competition. Like Coach said, new scouting reports, new places to travel. But really, I'm just excited to play along the girls that I came in with Jenna and Inesh, and then Kennedy obviously was here before, but just excited to play with them. We play really well together, so it's going to be a fun season. And then obviously we have some great new pieces. So just one last season with these girls, and then I have another one after this, but it's going to be fun.
They say sometimes for players who have to sit out because of injury that you kind of see things very differently. Were there things that you saw having to sit on the bench next to your coaches, kind of pick up on that maybe you wouldn't have if you hadn't had that experience?
100%. Obviously, when it first happens, you're just so bummed, but there's been a lot of blessings in disguise. But I'd say, like, when you sit out, you do see it from a coach's perspective. You see why they said what they said. You see why your teammates made decisions they made. So I feel like I just understand my coaches and teammates on a whole level that I wouldn't have if I wasn't able to sit out last year.
Worldly experience, not a bad thing to have in your players, right? No doubt about it. All right. Kennedy McQueen, you started every game in last year, averaged over 30 minutes a game, a 2024 Pac-12 honorable mention selection. Lots of changes for not only women's basketball at Utah, but your entire athletic department, your institution. I asked one of the players from Arizona State this question, just sort of what's been the vibe with your department and all of your sports around this move to the Big 12? How has it been for all of you, and what's everybody feeling in this first new year of competition?
Yeah, I think just excitement. I think I can speak for every sport that we're excited to be part of the Big 12 Conference and the new challenges and journey that lies ahead with that. But I think one thing that stays the same no matter what conference we move to is each of our programs as a whole, as a university, and then just also speaking just to women's basketball. We might be in a new conference, but it's the same Utah that you saw in the Pac-12. So I think just bringing that energy, bringing what we're about into the Big 12.
Ready to showcase, there's no doubt. All right, for our media out here and our friends, if you have a question, please raise your hand. We're going to start right here in the front. There you go. There you go.
Hi, Michael Vopel, ESPN.com. Coach, you talked about building a program, and I think part of that is that we know your style. People are, I think, look forward to watching Utah basketball. How is this team going to be a little different, though, without Peely? Because she was such a big part of the team, obviously.
Yeah, I think, anytime you lose somebody like Alysa Peely, who was obviously such a huge part of what we did, and you don't just, as I've said many times, like it's not zero sum. She graduates, you bring in Sally, and it's like, okay, we're done. Like it just doesn't work that way. And so, we have brought in a couple really talented players out of the transfer portal, but we also didn't have Gianna Neepkins last year. That's a big factor. And then we return so much. We have great freshmen that I'm really excited about. So I think as coaches, while you have so many returners, every season is different. We're not going to abandon who we are and how we play in our system, but we get paid to kind of put our players in the best positions to be successful. So we're going to tweak some things in terms of how we run stuff. Obviously last year so much of what we ran was just to try to get Peely isolated in one-on-one situations. She's gone. I'm not going to run that anymore. So we've got to try to get that's my job, but we have certainly enough players to make up for her loss. And yes, we will miss her. She was a tremendous teammate and player for us. So there's a challenge in that, but it's not something that I'm fearful of.
Right here in the front.
Coach Matthew Postins, Heartland College Sports. I'm curious, joining a new conference, 12 new teams, did you and your coaching staff divide up tape, try to learn as much as you could about these teams going into the season? What was your process there?
Yeah, it's a lot of new. And the hard part with doing that, and what I have noticed in studying the other teams, in the Pac-12 there was a similar style. Even though every team kind of everybody was huge. There was kind of a similar vibe amongst the teams, even if they were all kind of uniquely different. In the Big 12, there are so many different styles of play, and it is very, very different. And so I think that adds another layer of preparation complexity that we need to be prepared for. The other thing is, as rosters change at this, in this era of college sports, who was on one team last year they might have added 7 or 8 new people. So it's really hard to know. To my answer earlier about with Peely, like we're going to change some things. Teams are going to change some things. So it's going to be a steep learning curve. I'm not naive about that. But the flip side of that coin is that we're new to those guys too. So as much new as we have to prepare, teams have to prepare for us, and we're new to them too.
I think we had a question over there.
Madeline Garber, University Daily Kansan. You've all talked about the excitement behind joining the Big 12 Conference. What would you say your feelings are about getting to join alongside BYU, your rivals?
I mean, I think it's great. We play them every year in the non-conference as is, so now we just play them twice, and it's baked into the schedule easily. But yeah, it's always a rival in every sport, and it's a game that both teams, BYU and Utah, they want to beat each other more than maybe the average game. But yeah, it's nice that it's in the schedule, and we don't have to try to figure out a date.
Well, the Big 12 is a league full of rivalries, so yours will fit right in. We want to thank you all for being here. Welcome to Kansas City. We look forward to seeing you all back here in March for the tournament.